Hello everybody, welcome back to the stream. Always good to see you. Welcome, welcome. Alright, so today we're going to be continuing on with that floating eyeball that's moving around the map that I was working on. I think there's a couple of things to do still. I did work on it a little bit more yesterday, so I'll get into everything that I did with that in just a second. But before I do that, I want to remind everyone that Alka Mortis is available for wishlisting on Steam. It's a dark fantasy roguelite auto battler. Oh, I have to sneeze. Nope, it passed. So if you're interested in that kind of game, then definitely check it out, wishlist it. It's linked in the description below. You can also support the game's development on Patreon. There are a couple of tiers here for you. And this top sponsor tier right here, if you subscribe to this for at least 1 month, I'm going to send you an Alka Mortis Steam key when the game fully launches on Steam. And you will also get your name in the in-game Alka Mortis credits. So it's a great way of, you know, getting your name into a game that may end up blowing up, you know? You never know. You better not take the chance. Better send $15 my way, just in case. Anyway, and then also we've got the Udemy courses here, which will teach you how to build complete games in the Godot engine. And there's also the Discord, which you can join. So all these things are linked in the description below, so check those out if you want to support me. All of that is much appreciated. And let's get right into it. So I guess before I show you what's going on with all the eyeball and stuff, we could say hello to everybody. Hello, Clickertail. Welcome back. Good to see you. Dusty, always good to see you. Welcome, welcome. Hello, V. Welcome. Good to see you all. Base XRP, welcome back. Meep, hello. Always good to see you. Good morning, Emerson. Salutations, MKRD. Just in case. Yeah, just in case. Send me money just in case. All right. So let me show you what I've got going on here. So yeah, yesterday's stream, I did a bunch of things, but one of the things I did is I moved my Fog of War stuff into a viewport, into a sub-viewport, I should say, for easier rendering. And then when I set up with the floating eye, well, I guess just to back up, so the floating eye, it kind of just moves around the map. So let's see if we can find it. Oh, there it is there. So the floating eye just kind of moves around the map, and it does two things. It increases the notoriety penalty of any nodes that are within its radius. But what it also does is it reveals nodes that are within its radius temporarily. So the idea being that this is going to be a mechanic that kind of forces the player to reconsider their route if they encounter one of these things, but also because it's always visible, you can kind of keep an eye on it, no pun intended, and it might reveal a node that you want to visit. So if you don't know where like an increased board size node is, you could keep an eye on the eyeball and it may float over one of your increased board sizes that you need. This is actually not a great example because it's like right here, but yeah, so here's a good example, right? So I'm typically not able to see what's over here, but since the eyeball is there, I can look and I could say, oh, there is a grow board. That's a perfect example. Look at that. So there's a grow board here. So now I know that I may want to make my way this direction so that I can get that upgrade, right? And then if I move, that eyeball is also going to move. Unfortunately, the first node here was an obelisk, so... But yeah, so that eyeball moved, so now I can no longer see that increased board size. It's up here, but it's just patrolling around. So that's just a mechanic to make the map navigation a little bit more interesting. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start increasing the frequency of these things. You know, after the boss fight, what happens is I increase the notoriety penalty of every node by putting a little eyeball icon on it. But what I think I might do instead is I might just spawn more of these kinds of eyeballs and just make them very dense in this area. So it would still be possible in theory to avoid them, but it would be really hard to do so. Hello, Maxim. Have a good stream and code without bugs. Thank you. Appreciate it. Welcome to the stream. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I like it. And I think we could do some other stuff with this too, but yeah, we'll see. So there's a couple of things to do still, but in terms of how I accomplished this. So again, this Fog of War sub viewport here, what's happening in here is that, now why is this not rendering? Oh, I guess it doesn't render the sub viewport. So this is what the sub viewport looks like. It's just a black texture by default. And again, what I'm doing is I'm just putting these gradient textures in here wherever the light should be revealed. And this is a sub viewport with its own camera. So basically these reveal gradient textures are just matching the node points in the main viewport, I guess you could say. And then the camera here is just having its position matched to the real in-game camera. So I can keep everything 1-to-1, which is very nice. But for the floating eye, it needs to have the gradient texture follow it, right? So what I did for that, I did something very simple here. I've got a remote transform 2D. A remote transform 2D will take a remote path and it will basically just make the remote nodes transform the same as the remote transform 2D's transform. In other words, it pushes its transform onto the remote node that you've targeted. So when I set up the floating eye reveal radius, basically, what I'm doing is I'm calling this set reveal sprite, which is coming from that Fog of War sub viewport. And I'm just getting that path from the remote transform 2D in this floating eye to that sprite and setting that to the remote path. And then wherever this floating eye moves, so too does the gradient reveal texture move. So that's how I'm handling that. So there's a couple of things to do still with this. One thing that I want to do is I want to animate this for sure. So I'm going to go ahead and do that just to have it in place because it looks kind of weird without it. I'm also going to need to flip this. Let me think about this. Okay. Anyway, let's go ahead and add a little bit of an animation for this. Eye with little legs. It does look like that. They're not supposed to be legs, but they can be legs if you want them to. Do something like that. Let's do position and rotation. Let's do record. I'm going to change this to loop. Okay. Then for the rotation, I don't actually know if this rotation is going to look good or not. Probably not. Let's get rid of the rotation. That should be fine, I guess. I'll be haunted in my dreams by Eye with leggies, but it'll turn out he's friendly and a good pet. Yeah, that is... He does look kind of... I know there is an aspect of him that looks friendly. Hello, Neozoid. Welcome back. Yeah, I think this looks a little bit weird. Maybe I'll just put this back down at the center. Oops. I did not mean to do that. I think that's okay. I may even make this longer. And maybe not go up so high. Okay, so this is what it looks like in the game now. That looks good to me. We'll probably want to make it blink and whatnot too, but... So if I go here, I can skip that. It moves over there. So we're going to change the movement animation. So there's a couple of things I want to do. Let's see. Prevent it from spawning near start. Improve animations. So these are the things that we want to do today. Make it unable to backtrack, prevent it from spawning near start, improve the animations flip based on direction. So that's just going to be general improvements to the presentation of this thing. Let me think. Let's make it not able to backtrack. I think that should be as simple as let me think actually. I think this should actually just be as simple as doing this. Private edge, previous edge. Change edge. Oh, it's in here. Oh, I see. So we don't need to store this previous edge. So I guess I could just do this all in here then. Now, wait a minute. Hold on a second. No, I think I do need this previous edge here. Previous edge is equal to new edge. No, this is not random edge. This needs to be why is this so hard? I guess I'll just do this. Floating eye configuration. Let's change this to edge, current edge. Okay, that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna make this public, actually. Get private set. Then this needs to be current edge there. Current edge, current edge, current edge. And then current edge node B. All right. I think we're good now. Goodness gracious. Previous edge is equal to configuration dot current edge. We've got these neighboring edges now. Now hold up a second. Yeah, this needs to be here. Right, okay. This neighboring edges list edge, okay. Now the next thing I need to do is inside of this edge. I'm sure this is not, I think I should properly override the equality stuff. Well, I guess I could do that, right? Object is not edge other. Return false. Okay, there we go. Edge overrides object at equals, but does not override object.get hashcode. Well, I don't know how to override the hashcode, so that's fine. All right. Neighboring edges is equal to neighboring edges dot where x is not equal to previous edge dot to list. Okay. So we're going to filter out any neighboring edge that contains the previous edge. Grab a random one, then we'll set the new previous edge to the current edge, change the edge. Okay, there we go. I think that's fine. So that should prevent it from backtracking at all. Eyeball development, yes indeed. Welcome back, JKHE. Lurking Neozoid. Good morning, Sanzo. How you doing? Welcome back. I'm learning about state machines right now, and it's got me thinking about turning myself off for realsies. Yeah, a finite state machine is a pretty high level concept if you're just starting out on your programming journey. It is, yeah. It is. I think one of the most useful things that you can understand as a game programmer, or if you want to be a game programmer, is just understanding graph theory generally, because a finite state machine is a graph. You know, various pathfinding algorithms, those are graphs. The Godot scene tree is a graph. I mean, it's a tree, but a tree is a type of graph, you know. So understanding graph theory and how edges connect to nodes and how you could traverse through a graph is very, very useful for all kinds of different applications in game development. Knowing that makes me feel a bit less guilty and pathetic. Yeah, if you're just starting out, you should expect to hit these walls and not know what you're doing. And that is a good thing because it means you know what you need to learn. Hello, Michael. Good morning to you. All right, let's see if this works. Try to educate myself on graph theory first. Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily know if I'd say educate first, but definitely look into it. Definitely look into it because graph theory is very, very useful. And if you look into it, it may help you understand finite state machines better. From like a theoretical standpoint anyway. The thing that's weird about doing like computer algorithms and stuff is that you could like draw out the theoretical algorithm on a whiteboard and it's like, oh, that makes perfect sense. And then you look at the code for it and you're like, what the heck is going on here? It's like you could draw a very nice graph with like lines pointing to nodes on your little whiteboard. And then you go to implement like a breadth first search algorithm or whatever. And you go, oh my gosh, I don't know what the heck is happening here. I read a C++ book once when I was younger, didn't even get that the code should be read as instructions from top to bottom. I just looked at it like a picture. That's funny, yeah. That's funny. I'm sure we've all had moments like that. Okay, I can't see the eyeball being moved. I can't really tell if the eyeball isn't backtracking at all. Okay, I could see this one much easier now. Okay, so it's gone to that one. So it shouldn't go back to that one. It could go to that one, though. Or no, it should go to this one. We'll see. Now, why did it go back there? That doesn't seem right to me. Is my anti-backtracking code literally not working? That's fun. Stop following me. Maybe it is working. Nope, it's not. It's definitely not. Hello, Rin. Welcome back. Always good to see you. Do I need to use... I think I need to use this, actually. That's probably why. All right. Dang it. Started up the game and immediately closed it. Okay, and then we can figure this one out now. Skip this. Okay, so it started there and it went there. It's going here now. It's going there now. Yeah. So it can backtrack, you know, after a certain number of moves, but what I was doing is just trying to make sure it doesn't go back to the edge that it was just at. Now, I could make the backtrack list even longer. That might be a little bit more interesting. So maybe I'll try that. Thanks, always good to be seen. Yo, is that a new pet I see? What are you referring to? The eyeball thing? So we want to keep track of the previous edges. I guess it will be a pet, yeah. Let's do private. Maybe I'll just do like a queue. Previous edges. So we're going to do previous edges dot nq configuration at current edge, where using equality comparer. What is equality comparer? Does that use equals by default? Okay, yeah, that should be fine. Okay, so that's fine. Okay, so previous edges nq configuration.current edge, change edge. We're going to do this. If previous edges dot count is greater than 3, then we're just going to dequeue it. So we're just going to keep a running queue of the last 3 edges, and we'll just like remove the last one. Or we'll move the oldest one, I should say. I think that's how queues work. I don't know. I'm being slow today. These queues are first in, first out, right? I think that's what they are. No, they're not. They're not last in, first out. That would be a stack. So they got to be first in, first out. So that means that, yeah, the oldest one will be the one that's removed, I think. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, I feel slow today. If no iPet fans will rage, yeah. Wait until you get the Alka Mortis eye plushie available at Walmart. Negative Steam review. I can't bet the eye. Oh my gosh. Pet. Yeah, first in, first out. That's what I thought. I'm just not feeling on top of my game today, I suppose. Anyway. So first in, first out, we're good here. So that's going to work. So now I'm just basically preventing the eyeball from backtracking to the last 3 edges that it visited. Just to prevent, I'm just trying to make it, first of all, make the movement a little bit more predictable for the player. And second of all, just get the eye to move around the map more. So it's going here now. I'll go here. Let's see what this eye does. It goes up there. I might even increase it. I don't see why not. we'll bump it up to the last 5 edges. So we'll get these eyeballs moving around the map. Good morning, Ninja Link. Eye plushie and Snailcat plushie, yeah. That would be amazing. That would be amazing. Oops, I didn't sell that. Okay. I'm just following this thing to see where it goes. Oh, I lost? We're just going to observe it for a second. So now it's wandering around the map a little bit more effectively. You can see that it's generally predictable where it's going to go. Because it's preventing itself from visiting the last 5 edges, like when it gets into a section like this, it has to go this way. You know what I mean? So it's a little bit more predictable that way. And now it's leaving. So now it's leaving the area where I've permanently revealed some of these nodes. And so now it's getting into the territory where, like it's revealing stuff that I couldn't possibly have seen myself. Oh, it's no longer moving. Oh, I broke it. Argument out of range exception. Oh. Oh, it got into a situation where it can't visit any more of the edges. I didn't think that was possible, but that's all right. List edge filter neighboring edges is equal to that. And then in here, filter neighboring edges dot count is greater than 0. Okay. Why is this? Oh, I need a semicolon there. Cool. All right, so we'll just handle that case. If we get 0 edges after filtering, then we'll just use one of the neighboring edges. It's fine. I should also probably do this. If filtered neighboring edges dot count is equal to 0, we are just going to do, we're going to do previous edges dot clear. We're just going to clear the entire queue. If we get to a situation where all of the nearby edges have been visited, we'll just clear that and then it'll reset. I switched from node map in my game to just here's your next choice of nodes. Wanted to try since my map was linear anyway. Very nice, yeah. Yep, this will make the map way more interesting. Good. Would you want the eye to indicate which direction it can go to the player? Yeah, I don't know yet. I don't know. I can see the arguments both ways to do that. But anyway, I think that should be okay. Now I want to change this tween for change position here. Tween global position. Let's just do set transition tween dot transition type dot cubic set ease in out. Make it the tween a little bit smoother. Welcome back to the stream, by the way, Grandra. Okay, that eyeball is way up there. Okay, there's one. Can't really see the animation that effectively. Dang it, you get back here. I need to see your animation. Stop running from me. I still have an error. What the heck? How is this happening? Is it really thinking that neighboring edges is 0? Oh. I just forgot to replace that. Oops. Okay. We'll get it right eventually. We will get it right eventually. Oh, there's an eye right here. Perfect. Oh yeah, that looks much nicer, that movement. We're gonna want to change the direction it goes as well. Or flip the direction. Okay, so there's a bunch of things that I want to do, but let's go ahead and flip that. So Sprite 2D, actually I can probably just flip the visuals here. So let's grab the visuals node. And we are going to set the scale here. So we're going to say visuals.scale is equal to global position.x is less than target position.x. This should be reversed. Target position.x is less than global position.x. There we go. So we'll change the visual scale there. I think this is working pretty good. Where even is... Oh, he's over there. Okay. Let's see if I can get one closer here. I wonder if I should make some eyeballs spawn as well. That would be kind of cool. Anyway, there's an eyeball over there. Skip that. Okay, it's coming this way. Nice. Very cool. I like that. That feels much more reasonable. Cool. I actually wasn't paying attention to whether it flipped or not. I was just looking at the animation. There it goes. Yeah, it's flipping. Okay, good. Good, good, good. Okay, I think that's pretty much good. Now the question is, well, let's finish the rest of the stuff that I've written down first. So what else did I write down for this? Flip based on direction, improve animations, prevent it spawning near start. Right, I need to prevent it from spawning near the start. So if we go to seeded run here, we are doing what? Get floating eye configurations. Do I have like a generate floating eye? Yeah, here. Region edges is node, run map notoriety regions eye, get edges. If I is equal to 0, we're going to do some filtering here. Region edges is equal to region edges dot where run map generator dot get. How do I do this? Run map dot get minimum distance to node. X dot node A run map dot start node is greater than 3. And run map get minimum distance to node B. I actually don't think I need to do that. I just need to do it. Well, maybe I should do it that way, I guess. Okay, so if we're in the first region, what we'll do is we'll filter this region edges to only those edges that contain nodes that are more than 2 hops away from the start. So that way, you know, there won't be an eyeball that spawns right on top of you. So hopefully that will work. Got an eyeball over there. Where are all the eyeballs? There's one. I should probably put a limit on how far you can pan the camera, because I think it's unlimited right now. Anyway. There is a way to recenter the camera. That's the most important part. Time travel face bag. Welcome to the stream. Hello, I'm wrapping up your Survivor 2D course now. It's been a great intro to Godot and game dev in general for me, so thanks for that. Yeah, you're welcome. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Thank you for your message. Thank you, thank you. All right, let's do some experimentation here. Oh, you know what? There is one thing that I want to do. Well, let's see. Did I do everything here? Prevent it from spawning near start, reveal fog of war temporarily, make it unable to backtrack, make notoriety. Okay, so that's done. So I think what I want to do next is, instead of the Inquisition spread that I have for the boss, I think what I'll do is I'll just spawn a bunch of those eyeballs in the region. Yeah, I think that would make sense. So I spawn a bunch of eyeballs in the region, and then they can just all move independently. So the region will be covered in like these floating eyeballs, which will be increasing the notoriety penalties. But I guess the idea is that there may still be some gaps in the eyeballs and their coverage area, such that you could visit, you know, earlier region nodes if you wanted to, or if you could hang around there if you wanted to. But let's do that. So I don't know. So there's going to be a couple of pieces to this. One, I need a way of spawning eyeballs while the map is going, which is going to be a little bit problematic because I am generating these floating eye configurations now. I think I'm gonna have to think about this. Change node type and generate configurations. Okay. Let me think. Where should I start here? This is going to be tough, actually. So the run manager here, I think I have like spread Inquisition here. This has Inquisition penalty. I think I'm going to change that. As your stop. I'm just trying to think. How do I want to do this? So I think this Inquisition penalty has to go. This Inquisition penalty has to go. I'm going to get rid of this map. Whoops. Map node here. I'm going to get rid of this eye and this eye animation. That stuff is going to go away in favor of these like eyeball entities that are going to be floating around. So maybe what I'll do is I won't touch this existing system just yet. I think what I'll do is I'll just build a parallel system in here. And then, yeah, we'll see what that works. Is the player going to spawn the eye maybe from the shop, or is it a constant? Yes, the eye is an enemy faction thing. It's like the Eye of the Inquisition or whatever that increases the notoriety penalty. So I don't think the players can have any control over it, at least no direct control over it. I could definitely see myself adding some ways of manipulating the eyes though, or like removing eyes from the map or something, but I think yeah, for the most part it's just going to be an automatic thing. So the first thing that I need to do is I need to figure out... So I need to spawn new eyeballs in the map. I need to coordinate the eyeballs so that they don't occupy the same edges, because that would be weird. And I need to move all of the eyeballs. So let's just get spawning the eyeballs working first, and then we can worry about coordinating them. So the first thing that we need is we need a way of spawning new eyes. Do I have a reference to the map container? Map container. I don't know how I want to do this. How do I want to do this? So obviously I'm going to control it from here. I do have a reference to the seeded run. Generate floating eye configurations. So what I'll probably want to do is floating eye configuration. Okay, let's do this. We're going to rename this to get initial floating eye configurations. Then what we're going to do in here is we're going to do this. Private floating eye configuration. Generate floating eye configuration for region, I guess. I think this is largely just a copy paste job here. Region. We're going to return floating eye configuration there, region there. Okay. Then in here, generate floating eye configuration for region RNG. Okay. Then what I can do is up in here, I can do something like public floating eye configuration, get new floating eye configuration for region. We're not going to use the RNG here because what I'm going to do is I'm going to store a new RNG. So let's do private read-only random number generator. We're going to do floating eye RNG. In here, we'll do floating eye RNG. It's equal to new random number generator seed equals RNG rand eye. Oh, I made it read only on accident. Oops. Okay. So create a separate RNG object for that. So then up here, I can pass in the floating eye RNG. I wonder if I should... Let's do this, actually. Let's put this inside of this. Okay, so the reason we're creating a new random number generator is because I'm basically just creating a random number generator for each distinct piece of the... for each distinct configuration that needs to be generated, because I just don't know which order things are going to happen in. And so if everything shares the same RNG object, but, you know, randomization happens in a different order, then it's going to destroy what it means for the seeded run to be a seeded run. So I'm creating a separate random number generator object for kind of like each feature of the map. And so that way I'm guaranteed that the same outcomes will happen, because it's like order independent now. Like I could go to an obelisk first before the floating eyes spawn, or I could go to the obelisk after the floating eyes spawn. And because they're not sharing an RNG object, it's not going to affect the behavior. In other words, for every seed, the behavior is going to be predictable. Ah, I see now. Eyesore. Oh, nice. First idea is using some kind of heat map based on proximity to other eyes. I don't think it needs to be that complicated. I think I just need to check which edges are occupied and don't put eyes there. New artifact idea, Book of the Damned. You can remove an eyeball from the board by spending either blood or sacrificing cards equal to what you would for resurrection. Interesting, yeah. That could work. That could definitely work. Okay, so I've got all that set up, and I've got this new get new floating eye configuration for region. Oh, I just realized that this is going to choose a random edge. Shoot. This is potentially going to spawn eyeballs on top of each other, but let's worry about that later. So in my run manager here, this is iterating over all edges. So I actually need to do this a little bit differently. How am I going to do this? I don't know how to do this. It's time for game dev once again. Yes, it is. Jackie Daytona, welcome back. I think what I need is like a list of excluded edges. Something like that. And I almost need to, I just need to modify this now. So region, run map notoriety regions, get edges. We're gonna get rid of this. That doesn't need, that's not necessary anymore. We're gonna say dot where excluded, not excluded edges contains X. To list, that's fine. Oops, random edge here. Okay, that's fine. So if I go to my run manager now, we're going to get rid of these things here. You know what? This is not working either. Let's do potential edges instead. I don't even need this region anymore. Oh, I guess I do need the region. So I guess what I'm doing in the run manager is I'm actually going to construct a list of edges. So previous region dot get edges. I'll just do this. Dot take mathf siltent. Well, let's do var edges. Previous region get edges. Edges.take, edges.count divided by 4. Okay. What am I doing? Potential edges, it's getting, so we got potential edges here. Let me check something. Potential edges.remove. Does this use the equality comparer as well? Index of. You serious? Oh, it does use the equality comparer. Okay. Okay. I feel like there's just something weird going on here. I don't... Oh, because I was filtering out for has inquisition penalty. So I have to make this so that the eyeballs spread adequately. I previously, the notoriety penalty spread was going from the bottom up, but I wonder if I need to do that anymore. I wonder if I could just do previous region get edges. All right, let's just make this simple to start. Seated run dot. How many times does this get called? Oh, it just gets called every time. Interesting. Okay, I've got some problems with this system that are not going to be easy to fix. It's on the menu today, sounds like notoriety. Yeah, I'm changing how the notoriety penalty after fighting a boss works. I have the new eyeball that floats around, so I'm just going to fill the map with those instead of, you know, having every node have the notoriety penalty. But I guess I'm just struggling with this. If edges.count is equal to 0. So this doesn't make any sense at all. Shurima, come on, stop. All right, my cats are being ridiculous today. So basically the whole process by which Inquisition was spread before is like not applicable anymore. So I need to come up with a different way of doing this. So here's what I'll do instead. I'll figure out all the edges that I want to spawn. No, I won't do that. I'll figure out the number of total eyeballs that I want to spawn. I'll figure that out first. And then I will store that number. And then I'll just chunk through that number. So every time the player moves, I'll do like a third of the remaining, or I'll do a third of the total. Yeah, we'll do something like that. And then I can handle in here, I can handle avoiding placing them at existing places, at existing eyeball positions. I think that's what I have to do. So it's going to be, yeah, it's going to have to be different than what I've got here. The unfortunate thing is Inquisition spreading equals true? Where is this? Ah. So it gets set here. So this probably needs to turn into a method that can store some data about how many total that I want to spread. Although, what I don't understand is Inquisition spreading. Notoriety penalty pause duration. Where's this being set? Oh, that gets set here. Where is this called? Oh my goodness. State map, if wasn't boss fight, pause notoriety penalty. Okay. All right, so we're gonna have to rework some things here, but I think I have a plan forward. So we're gonna try to get it to where these eyeballs are spawning after the boss fight, but I'm gonna take a quick 3-minute break, and when I come back, we'll work on all that stuff and we'll see what happens. But yeah, I'll be right back in 3 minutes and we'll continue on. All right, sorry about the longer wait. I had to take care of something, unfortunately, but we are all good now. So, yeah, what do I need to do for this reveal for these floating eyes stuff? So yeah, I'm going to create a new method here. Where do I want to do this? Let's just create it down here somewhere. Private void begin inquisition spread. Let's see this. Is inquisition spreading? Old notoriety region, okay. So what I'm going to do in here is I'm going to say, is inquisition spreading equals true. Let's figure out where this is here. Get rid of this, replace that with begin inquisition spread. Okay, so in here what we're going to do is we're going to store the total number of eyeballs to spawn. Probably want that to be a dictionary. So private read-only dictionary int region to floating. Let's see, just call it Inquisition eyes, I guess. Something like that. Okay, so what we're going to do in here now is we are going to do this. Previous region is equal to, we're going to set this to old region. What? What is going on? It doesn't exist in the current context. What are you talking about? Oh, it's not in, it's not a method. Okay. Current notoriety region -1. So we got the previous region. Let's get the edges here. Previous region.get edges. Var eyeball count. Let's go to previous regions.get edges. We'll say that half of all edges need to be occupied by eyeballs. And then we will say region to Inquisition eyes count. Okay, var previous region index. Okay, so we're counting up all the edges, dividing them by 2. So we're saying half of all edges need to be occupied by the eyeballs. Cool. All right. I don't know if that's actually what I want to do here. Region to Inquisition eyes count. Hello, Kelso. Welcome back. Good to see you. All right, we'll just try this for now. All right, let's do this. Now when we call spread Inquisition, I'm trying to think of what I want to do here. Gosh, why is this so difficult? When the Inquisition spreads here, I want to spawn a bunch of eyeballs. Yeah, I don't know. We'll just do another dictionary. Private read-only dictionary. Int. Region to floating eyes spawned. Okay. If not, is Inquisition spreading return, that's fine. If region to floating eyes spawn, well, let's do this. Var previous region index. Let's get this out of the way first. If region to floating eyes spawned is equal to that, we're going to say is Inquisition spreading equals false. Okay. How do you have unlimited idea in game? I don't know what you mean, Kelso. I wouldn't say I have unlimited ideas. I would say my ideas are actually quite limited. But yeah, if you want to clarify your question, I don't really know how to answer it. Edges, so yeah. So now I need to spawn in each of these steps. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. See, this is gonna be weird with like integer division and stuff. That's the stuff that's like, because what I want to do is I want to say, okay, var number to spawn this step is equal to region to Inquisition eyes count previous region index divided by 3. But there could be a leftover, right? So I don't know. You know, if I've got 37 edges or whatever, and if I divide by 3, that's going to give me an integer of 12. So it's possible that one edge is not going to be filled that should. So I guess what I could do is I could just check that the remainder, I just spawn the remainder at the last step, I suppose. I don't know. Doesn't need to be that complicated, I suppose. Anyway, so we're going to do seeded run dot generate or get new floating eye configuration, previous region index edges. Okay, that's fine. And this is going to have to be for int I equals 0. Well, I'll just do var I equals 0. I is less than number to spawn this step, I plus plus. I don't know what you just did here. Why is it doing that? Region to floating eyes spawned. I have no idea how to do this. Region to floating eye spawn, previous region index plus plus, floating eye configuration here. And now I need to do map container, public void place floating eye. We're going to pass in the floating eye configuration here. Okay. So that's public now. So we can do game map container place floating eye configuration. Now we need to make sure that these are equal. Maybe sometimes we don't have enough idea about the game, and I think it good and normal for developing game. Yeah, I think it's yeah. Sometimes it's hard to figure out what to put in your game or what to add to the game. Yeah, I definitely think, I mean, there's different. So like in the case of Alka Mortis, it's tough sometimes to come up with ideas that are more game design oriented, like how do I solve this game design problem with a new feature or a new mechanic or by tweaking the existing features and mechanics. So that's one part that's hard to come up with ideas for. And then there's the more thematic things, right? Which is like, how do I come up with more card ideas, both from the art perspective, but also from the perspective of adding new abilities that interact with the game in different ways. So yeah, it can be tough. It can be tough to come up with ideas. I think it's normal to get stuck or blocked on some things like that. What I usually find is that I could just work on something else for a while, up to a few weeks, and a lot of times an idea will kind of come to me, or I'll just keep thinking about it in the background, and then I'll say, oh, that would be cool, or this could fix that issue, or I'll encounter something in the real world where I'm like, oh, that would make a good card for the game, you know? Stuff like that. Hello, Bubblegum Lord. I'm loving your streams and videos. Can I ask Godot questions, specifically resources? Yes, you can. Absolutely. Just playing more games in general, or in the genre, reading books, getting inspiration. Yeah, that can help too, for sure. So, if region to floating eyes spawned, previous region index, plus number to spawn per step. Is greater than region to Inquisition, then remaining to spawn is equal to that. Yeah. Okay, so that's a little bit weird, but that's exactly what I wanted to do. All right. Let's see if this works. I'm not optimistic about this, but debug notoriety level 99. What I'm going to do about this, begin Inquisition spread. Is Inquisition spreading true? Okay. What am I looking for? Yeah, spread Inquisition here. All right, let's give this a shot. Let's see what happens. It will work. I appreciate the optimism. We'll see. We will see. All right. So I need to do this. Oh, I should have spawned. Hold on. I need to give myself God mode so I can beat the boss. So I'm creating a JRPG type of game where after a collision with enemy, you are transported to battle screen. I need a way to load data about the battle, enemy types, their stats, player stats, etc. I was wondering if resources plus loading data through a singleton and initializing battle screen from my level manager would be a good approach to that. Well, I mean, there's a question here, which is that are your battles random? Like, are they randomly encountered, or are you hand placing all these battle encounters? I think that's a big question, depending on how you would do it. If they're hand-designed encounters, then yeah. Using resources to do that is a good way of doing that, I think. As far as initializing the battle screen, yeah, I think you can do that. I'm kind of doing something similar in Alchemortis where... So the map that you see in the overworld is always present. I'm not deleting and recreating the map. The map is just being visually hidden, depending on what I'm doing. But the map is just preserved in the background, and then I create my individual combat or event scenes on top of it. And then we go back to the map here, and it still exists, like all that state still exists. So you could definitely create like your temporary scenes above like your overworld and do it that way. I think that works just fine. Let's see what happens. Oh, we got a bunch of eyeballs spawned here. Okay, I feel like that's too many eyeballs, but that's okay. Now we're spawning more. Now we're spawning more, and they're all moving. Okay, that's definitely too many eyeballs, but it's working the way as intended. So let's do this. And did that finish spawning as well? Yes, it did. So we need to divide this by like 5 instead. So we're taking the total number of edges. Is this getting unique edges? Yeah. That's getting unique edges. All right. Yes, they are not randomized, more like Clear Obscure 33 rather than, let's say, Pokemon. Yeah, so I think, yeah, designing your encounters with resources would be fine, I think. I don't know enough about your encounters to know, like, I guess if it's just a JRPG, then there's no like positional data, right? It's just here's the number of characters on your side and here's the number of characters on the enemy side. So yeah, I think if you had a way to define characters with resources and with stats like that, you know, it's one of those things too, like if you're handcrafting it, you don't necessarily need to go all in on resources. Like you may use the resource to define the basic character stats, but if you want to define like the list of abilities the character has, it might be easier to do that through just like a raw script. Yeah, like there's a lot of considerations to make. I certainly wouldn't like try to force resources. Like if you find that resources are making your ability to create your encounters very cumbersome, then I think that's a good signal that you probably shouldn't be using resources for it. Like the whole reason why you would use a tool like the custom resources is that it's supposed to make your life easier when you're setting your combat encounters up. And if that's not happening, then you're either using the resource wrong or it's not the right tool for the job. So just keep that in mind too. Shrima, what are you doing? Come on. Okay, thank you. Good girl. A cute army of eyes, yeah. Shrima, what are you doing? What are you doing? Don't look at them. They're not going to help you. They're not going to help you. Hello, cat. Yeah. Dang cat. Okay, so we got the boss here. I'm just gonna do this really quick. Get some eyes start to spawn. Okay, we got 2 eyes there. Got more eyes there. Okay, that looks more reasonable. Finish this out here. That might even still be too many, but Yeah, so the idea here is that there are still pockets of nodes that are not covered by the eyeballs. So like I could go over here, for instance, but I may not be able to because these are going to move. Yeah, so I could visit this one and not incur a notoriety penalty. That still may be too many eyeballs though. So let's do divided by 7. I wonder, let's just go to 10. Let's divide it by 10. I don't know how many edges there are per region. Probably quite a few edges per region, but let's just see what this does. So the idea is to make it like really hard to navigate through the region because it's so under the watch of the Inquisition, while also still making it potentially possible to navigate through and get some upgrades. That might be an okay number of eyeballs. I'm gonna have to enhance them too so that they don't end up sharing the same edge. Like I'm gonna have to take some edges off the table. Okay. One thing to be careful with resources is that they are passed by reference unless you use duplicate. Yes, that's true. I think generally speaking, it's a good idea not to mutate anything on the resource, really. I think resources are best used as like definitional things that should be treated as like unchanging. That's not always true. I mean, I definitely used, well, did I use? I'm trying to think if I did that in Gunforge, if I used a resource where I modified its data. I don't think so. Anyway. So there's 2 eyeballs sharing a what you call it here, an edge. So I need to prevent that from happening. What else do I need to do? I gotta add an animation for them. So for Inquisition spread, prevent eyeballs from sharing edge. Animation, stagger / delay, movement, and spawn animations. I think this is going to work just fine. Go here. Okay. That'll work. So it's already kind of working. You can see that I can maneuver my way through here without incurring a penalty. So if I get caught in this first region for whatever reason, I can kind of maneuver my way through it without too much problem, but I think this is cool. I think this is going to work real good. Yeah, I like it. Okay, so I'm going to need to change a bunch of things too. I need to remove old icon from map node. show note about Underwatch. Or change. Okay, so it would be worth to try implementing it through script, like with export arrays. Just need to pass data about any initiative, turn order, and their type. Yeah, I think that would work fine. Yeah, for sure. You like it too? Yeah, I think it's going to be much better. So obviously we're going to have to play test it, but there's still a lot of work to do with these eyeballs. So that'll be the hardest part here is going to be prevent them from sharing an edge, because now I need to coordinate their positions and make sure that they're not occupying the same edge, which means that I'm probably going to need like a floating eye manager or something that in a top-down manner changes them. But yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see. Anyway, that's going to be it for the stream today. I have so much stuff to do. End of year errands, like it's crazy. Anyway, that's it for the stream today. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for being here. Making good progress on this, so I'm very happy about that. You can wishlist Alka Mortis on Steam. It's available for wishlisting, like I just said. It's in the description below. You can also join the Discord if you want to hang out, and you can support me on Patreon if you're interested in doing that. I'm not familiar very well with resources, never feel the need to use them in previous games. Good luck on development. Yeah, you're welcome. Bubblegum Lord, and thanks for tuning in. Yeah, goodbye, Rin. Good to see you again. Thank you for the stream. Yeah, thank you for watching. All right, take care, everybody. I'll be back at it tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern, so I hope to see you there. Bye-bye.